and Smed teamed up, take down the Caitlyn, and were able to snowball the game back in their control after that.
So let's hop into game number 2, pick and ban. You can see that first ban for KT for both of these games has been Jarvan.
You notice that the ROX Tiger, at least the coach outfit, kind of looks like Tony the Tiger with the stripes, right?
It actually does.
Look like these sugar frosties.
These guys have been eating too many frosted flakes. They're turning into tigers.
Well, they're gonna need a little extra boost if they plan on taking down KT.
They need to switch to Wheaties, man, in order to actually get back into this series.
Yeah, well, the Jace as well denied with the Jarvan, so I always gonna hit on this one. The Jace is a triple flex here in Korea. It's a mid, top, and jungle pick. I know that sounds crazy, but yes, Jace jungle.
Where is it that we saw Jace jungle? Was that in promotions?
Not even in promotion. It was in the Challenger series from Ever 8. So Malrang was playing that and pretty much just bopping CJ with it.
Oh, thank God. Okay, we have Galio banned.
Hallelujah.
I'm so happy right now, guys. You don't even know. I'm just, yeah. I really have not been enjoying this Galio so far.
First pick Lee or first pick Kennen? Maybe even Thresh, actually, from Mata. He had a pretty great series. It really seems to be fitting the KT style, and it is the most heavily contested support so far. So it would not be surprising if they decide to give it to the main shot caller for this team.
There's definitely a lot of choices, as you were pointing out. So they go down to the wire, and you are correct. It will be Thresh as the first pick for Mata. Makes sense. I mean, he had such a star game on it in game number 1.
Now, you have to wonder, do ROX care about Kalista Thresh again? You have to think about it, and denying a Kalista out of nowhere, not the wisest move when you're not pairing it with Thresh yourself, and KT always has the option of just securing their bottom lane early on, but instead they will just take away the Orianna and testing Pawn's hand here. He has seen a lot of success on him. What else can he do now that there is no Galio, there is no Orianna, and I believe the last pick we saw out of him before that was the Gaffiz. I'm looking through the notes. Where are my stats?
My favorite champion, Gaffiz.
Oh, it was Corki and Talia. Yeah, there is plenty.
Yeah. So Mickey, this is the first time he's going to be repeat playing a champion. This will be a second game on Orianna. He's played 6 different champions, and as you said, just take that away from Pawn. Mighty Bear is going to give another shot at Graves. He had a pretty good game on the Graves. You have to say he was 4-0 before this series. Again, that was on a stronger Graves, but definitely seems to be one of his most practiced champions. Not deciding to go with the Lee Sin. They give that over to Score once again.
Not too keen on that one, really. The Lee Sin pick is just so darn strong right now.
Do it, Pawn, please.
Going with the salty run back, could it be? Yep. Just saying, you know what? I'm going to beat you.
Look at Pawn's face.
Into Ahri. Look at that smile. When's the last time we've seen Pawn smile? This is a man.
You know, he's like mixing up his masteries.
Dude, when this guy won Worlds, he didn't even smile. He's like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. All right. And now we can actually see a smirk on his face, and it seems like we know what sinister ideas he has. What makes Pawn smile is trying to win the reverse matchup of something.
It just seems so obvious, right? Especially with the, I'll give it a mediocre performance. There are a lot more other words that I could have used for Mickey's Ahri play there in that first game.
Oh, I thought you were saying his smile was mediocre.
No,
I was like, man, that's
Ahri's play. Mickey's play on Ahri. But Pawn, you know, he's going into this one, he's like, I'm going to show you how to play Ahri, okay? Against Orianna.
But now, do ROX take away the Shen and say, let's make this a fair fight, mano a mano, even all around? Probably not. But he does have the Ignite this time around on Pawn, and I think that Pawn and Score could probably do a little bit more work with the Ahri Lee Sin than we would have expected last time around with the Ahri and Graves. Not the greatest combination there, as Lee Sin is the best junglers right now. The physical damage helps your laners just build whatever you want, especially when you target this top lane pool without Jarvan, Jace, Fiora, Kennen, leaving really just Renekton as your next physical dealer topside, and maybe Shen, but he's more of a tank.
Look at that Caitlyn ban. It seemed to be very good in the what was the last series? It was Samsung against Africa.
It just happened.
Yeah, I know. This always happens where the next day I'm like, wait, what did I cast? When you cast so much stuff, it eventually comes to it.
It all blurs together.
Yeah. The life of a caster. So rough.
You do have a shirt that says caster.
I do, actually. I wore that today.
Yeah.
Since 2005, although that's not the truth. Look at that Snap Callista pick.
Yeah, it is a Denial Callista, and it will be paired with the Braum, so it does offer some kill pressure, but it's not as flashy of a lane as Callista Thresh. So we are going to be denied the Fate's Call into Lantern plays or into hooks that we saw last time around from Mata and Def, and instead we will be getting the Varus, so even more pick potential, and just going with a full-on the ability to find individual targets from this composition is insane. You've got Charm, you've got Hook, you've got Kick, you've got Chains of Corruption, and yep, you're gonna have an equalizer to add on top of it to just make that team fighting that much stronger. No, why does he do this all the time? He did it last time too. Well, it's gonna be the Kled. Another pick champion.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean,
yes, he actually is doing the run back. It's gonna be, you know what? I'm not gonna talk about the hover. Yep, not doing it.
ROX is definitely one of these teams that likes to troll as well. So we gotta wait until the timer actually fades here. Okay, they are going with the Shen. So makes sense. You have so much pick on your team. Get that stand united.
But the thing is, ROX's ability to start a fight is close to none. How do you legitimately start a fight with your 4-man unit? You've got Shen split pushing in the side lanes. You have Braum Q, which requires range to hit it, whereas you have 2 short-range AD carries. Shockwave is really the only thing you have. So KT just gonna be the ones being the aggressors on this time around, whereas ROX have to play almost purely defensive onto these plays, and they have to play a way where they pressure the map, they play the macro, and really start fights in a way akin to SKT. And we all know how poorly it works when you try to take the SKT playbook into your own.
That's been finely crafted, written over many years, many centuries by Coma. Can't just recreate that one night.
He doesn't need, he can share it with the world as far as anyone knows. It's unaccessible. The knowledge is only available to them.
Oftentimes seems that way, but pretty interesting draft we had coming in here. Lots of pick from the side of KT. The Kled will have some nice pressure in the side lane with that charge, as we saw out of Samsung from Kive playing nicely on that.
And in the meantime, ROX will have to be playing really well in this laning phase for them to start getting the ball rolling. If they get ahead, then it becomes pretty much very easy with any composition that you have. But if you're behind, Fate's Call would really be the hardest way they can start a fight. But it's quite difficult when you're dealing with the mobility of a Lee Sin, an Ahri, and the Thresh Lantern to top things off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they do have a bunch of different targets to put the ball on. You do have that Shen to taunt on in. You do have the Braum if he is thrown in by the Callista. You have a couple of different options, but we'll see if they can actually make it work. As we said in Game 1, ROX Tigers, they oftentimes have decent composition, decent macro play, but then when it comes down to execution in the team fights, sometimes the positioning is not there, the mechanics are not there, and they definitely need to shore that up. So you can look at a composition in its shell for ROX, but I want to see them take this composition and actually do something with it. So guys, we're going to jump into game number 2 right now between KT and the ROX Tigers.
My God, it's like the voice comes from nowhere. I can't see it.
I couldn't find her that time. The follow through for the KT chants is definitely stronger. Although the cheerleader tries to hype them up and go super loud. The ROX cheerleader is actually really loud, which is very necessary for that position.
It really makes a difference. Junglers will just be staring into each other's eyes here as a standard 5-point formation happening, although
How romantic.
they are looking for maybe a cheeky level 1, but KT knows all too well not to fight against Braum Kalista level 1, especially in a face-checking moment.
Looks like Score's gonna start red here. We have seen some Raptor starts at times, and notice how he sneaks around. So you can see that the Tigers are they saw that there's a ward there. KT did, so they know that hey, maybe we can sneak around, take red instead. So maybe they're not sure if I went to blue. Started at some kind of weird pattern. They came over there and actually gave one Raptor to Kled for Smeb up in the top lane. We'll give him level 2 on the first wave.
And this red could mean that he goes for what? He does all this work to dodge. Okay, he still manages to dodge around the ward. But they're not going to take any cheeky invades onto this. He's just going to try to make sure that ROX does not know where his route is, and that will make it a little bit tougher for ROX to lane, as they're not going to be able to know where Lee Sin starts, where he's going to end, and as such they have to play with a little bit more respect as opposed to knowing exactly where he would be.
Getting a look down here in the bot lane, it looks like Deft and Mata have a bit more pressure. They're pushing harder, so they will at level 2 first. We won't see any crazy plays from the bot lane of the ROX Tigers.
And even though they can push up this well, the jungler is going to be a Graves, and the only setup is that Braum. Not that instant CC that you see out of that Thresh, and as such, they can play with a little bit more confidence, knowing that if a Graves gank is to show up, you can probably just Lantern out of the situation, and you can get away scot-free.
I like that the Observer is showing us the mid lane a lot. We talked about the reverse matchup. Pawn was on the Orianna in game 1 and Mickey on the Ahri in game 1. You guys are joining us late.
Yeah, and even though he is pushed up into the mid lane, Mighty Bear does not fancy an invade at this time around. He instead just gets a Scuttle Crab and doesn't fancy a gank into the bottom lane either, not knowing where Lee Sin is, and that's the power of that start and that dodge around that Score did. You just don't know. What if he started blue and flinched into the bottom side? What if he's waiting in that brush bottom lane? And those are the things that you have to consider when you go for a gank, and if the answer is maybe, you almost always have to say, I'm not going to go for it because the risk is just too high.
You got to be sure, especially early on in the game. And, oh, they're going to land the stun. Lantern will save Deft's life. But a nice bit of damage put onto this Varus early on. But again, Doran's shields will make it so that Deft will be back at full health in just a bit. And we'll be totally fine.
D shield plus an extra 300 HP there from the 2 potions. He's okay. He's got
fire.
He's got Skarl. What a name.
Skarl. He's immortal, right? Skarl?
Is he?
He doesn't die, he just runs away when he gets scared.
That doesn't sound like a good way of being immortal, actually.
Well, then you come back when you've regained your confidence.
That just sounds like being a coward.
Well, I mean, we didn't, we were just saying that he was immortal, not not a coward.
Is he immortal like
he's
a lobster?
He's not a brave immortal, he's just immortal.
Lobsters are immortal.
What?
Yeah, they can live forever.
Like can't.
A lot of animals can live forever, actually.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. As long as they keep eating, they die because they keep eating, and then you can like infinity grow, but you just can't find food that's enough to satisfy your seemingly endless growing size. I know a lot about animal facts, man. Trust me on this one.
I don't want to subscribe to lobster facts here, Crumbs, but that does sound very interesting.
My favorite superhero is Lobster Johnson, but a gank will be going topside.
Who's Lobster Johnson?
He's a fictional hero from the Hellboy universe. Mighty Bear does find Score. Ooh, half HP.
That was a really nice setup for the Graves. Can they actually convert this into a kill, though? It looks like Ahri will get there first with the charm. And still on the chase is Mighty Bear. There's the dash forward. Blasting plant to save Pawn. There's the flash from Mighty Bear. And just barely, Score will survive, and he does conserve that flash.
Cool play there from Mighty Bear, and Score. Ooh, I don't know if I want to give him the benefit of the doubt for knowing how much HP he was going to survive with, because that was awfully close, but able to run away with the use of that Scuttle Crab, proccing that extra speed that really allows him to get away. But a turn on Mighty Bear. Shen's not in that position. Stand United.
Stand United. There's the taunt coming in. Smeb hopping off that Skarl. This could be first blood if they can find some damage. The flash follow-up from Linderong as he's making up for some mistakes that he made in game 1. Does pick up the first blood.
Some overconfidence there from Smeb, thinking that he can take out Mighty Bear, but just like ROX, they fell prey to the Shen just coming out of nowhere. And these teams seem to be forgetting that Stand United has to always be accounted for unless it just has been used. And as such, a first blood goes the way of Shen. And that's really useful because now they have a teleport advantage that Kled cannot follow through. And if they can proc that one more time, that's an advantage that ROX can start growing and amassing a lead that is just so necessary on this composition that lacks heavy engaged tools.
Deft going for a walk into the river.
Ari is moving down. There is TP onto Linderang, though, if an engage were to happen.
Deft and Mata still level 5. No Chain of Corruption to come out and force an engage or anything like that.
In the meantime, just some happily farming. Linderang will try to get some control back into this lane by pushing out. You can see that he's looking to go for that Tiamat, and it's important that he keep the lane pushed so that when he TPs out, he doesn't lose minions or turret experience. And that's why you see the pushing power on Shen be really just so heavily valued as opposed to what we used to see before, which was maybe a Bami Cinder, which turned into a Sunfire that did get nerfed, or sometimes even a Spectre's Cowl that you see into some AP matchups.
Score has hit level 6, as has Mighty Bear, so we could see some potential ganks as both of the junglers have red now. And you can see that Key and Mighty Bear, they were coming in here. If they could proc that stun, Mighty Bear no doubt has the burst damage to follow up for a kill.
Be able to find Mata here, actually, and there is...
Oh, he's going straight
no
for
teleport.
it.
What?
Oh, what?
How?
What?
This guy's got map hacks.
Who is this guy?
That was so good.
Said no one ever, as everybody knows exactly who Mata is.
Well, he reads the situation very well, throws out the lantern, and you just see that your AD carries farming alone, that there's no action happening elsewhere on the map, and they respond properly. They're looking to go for a score, but he's just too slippery right now. But they are able to clear out some of the vision in the red side jungle that ROX was able to place.
I mean, it's good tries from ROX. With the Infernal Drake up, if they can get a pick onto pretty much anyone, it would have been nice to try to go for that Infernal Drake as a follow-up, especially with Shen up in the top lane. But nothing happening. KT too smart. Shockwave comes out, but it's not really going to do enough damage. Mickey does have blue, so should be able to get that back in due time.
I want to bring back what you're saying. It's a good try, and I agree. When you see these teams that are kind of struggling for wins, what you want to see out of them is just proactivity, and looking for moves against one of the better teams is something that is always going to be valuable. And Mickey getting collapsed on. There's Stand United available.
The charm hits, and well, everything is coming out of KT, and everything hits. Stand United does not save him. The charge actually came in from Smeb, it looks like, but
used the charge to try to burn past the shield, but Lee Sin and Ari just have way too much damage for Orianna to deal, and getting a little bit greedy, trying to clear out the wave without any other vision. As soon as he gets collapsed on, he's dead.
Pawn just chuckling to himself a little bit, saying, haha, my Ari's better. And Score, he's still looking for more. The kick was actually used, and Smeb baiting almost a little bit too much. I think they want that taunt.
Yeah, but without any vision, the junglers aren't there. You know that he should not go for this move because there's nobody else on the map. So if a gank were to happen topside here, the opportunity cost for KT would be 0. So they would always want to go for it. And as such, he sees that, not such a great idea, but ROX going with the same move that they did last game, going with a lane swap topside, trying to go for that first brick. There is no answer bottom lane, and while Deft can return and go topside with Mata, Mata is moving down towards the bottom side of the map, so this definitely will be surprising KT at this time.
Yeah, look at the way they're playing it too. They're waiting in the brush. Linderong is pushing. I think they want to just hide this for as long as possible, although he is recalling. Looks like Sangyun might be as well.
Yeah, there's too many pings onto the wave. The minions just aren't really there, so a commitment to the turret might not be enough. Smeb does have flash.
Oh boy, they're committing hard onto this Kled. Can they actually pick it up? The flash away, and they will pick up the kill onto Smeb, so nicely done.
And nobody there to answer anything in return. They're just now going to move towards that bottom lane turret. So ROX will definitely have the advantage to secure that first brick before anybody else. We might see Score try to answer an Infernal, so very reminiscent of Game 1, and so we can expect Mighty Bear to maybe look for that Rift Herald right about now. He is going to go for it. But will Score answer with Infernal? Really would hope so.
He's doing Raptors, man.
Got to get those chickens, man. Protein's the name of the game.
He's been watching too many BBQ games. He wants to fry the game right now. That's all he cares about. Okay, finally they make their move towards the Infernal Drake. But this time, as you were saying, it looks like the Rift Herald should be given over to ROX.
They failed to secure it last time as he stepped over a ward, and they took a little bit too long. So definitely learning from the mistakes from Game 1 and applying it over here. And now that the Herald has been secured, look at how much HP he's done to this mid lane turret. A good Herald use onto the mid lane would mean that a tier 1 can go down for KT, and that could open up the map in the way that ROX want to, considering that they've been playing macro pretty well this series so far. Or so far this series. Pardon my English.
It's all good. We see KT grouping up here in mid. They want to push back a little bit, as not many members of Tigers are here right now.
He's gonna ult it again. No, excuse me.
Score coming on in here. Nice little moves there as KT forces Tigers, the ROX Tigers, to respond to the mid push. He just slips on in and steals a buff.
And a good buff steal, some good buff control means that he can stay out on the map longer. The red buff regen, always fun to work with. And he is pretty strong right now. He will be going for that Ninja Tabi when you're dealing with Kalista and Graves. It's almost a sin not to go for it at that time, considering just how much damage those two guys can deal to any tank. Ari, in the meantime, fancying something, but you always have to remember the Shen factor here, where his ability to save anybody now is a little bit enhanced or encouraged, to say the least, as the shield does grow in strength the lower that the intended target is. Oh, this could be it. He's probably going to throw our Lantern into the brush here for Smeb, for Mata. He's playing pretty far back.
Looking for it. There are some pings as they might want to. Yep, here we go. Sangyun gonna. Okay. Just not going to go for it, it seems.
They really read the play, and you wonder, why does KT read the play? How are they seemingly able to sense whatever ROX is doing? Well, take a look at the other two laners. Graves is nowhere to be found, and Orianna is not in the mid lane, and you always get suspicious when people are Mia, and your senses go up and think, okay, something fishy is about to happen somewhere, and I don't want to fall victim to it, and as such, they respond properly, and maybe if the play would have happened with Mighty Bear looking to invade while Orianna's pushing into the mid lane, then Mata would not have played so defensively. But the Herald does get popped here, and without any wave clear as Ari's here, this can be that mid-tier 1 going ROX's way, and it definitely will be.
Yeah, nice positioning there to just abuse KT's positioning. Put that down, they do take the mid-tier 1, and it even fights for a little bit against some of those KT players. So definitely a better usage this time around compared to Game 1.
I think that that's really what we can just hope for, a Rift Herald at this point. I think that as teams get better in how to use it, they'll also get better in how to defend against it. And the only big value that I think you can get out of it is going for that, cracking that mid-tier 1, taking any advantages that your laner might have acquired and allowing it to convert to a mid-tier 1 very quickly and open up the map nicely. And this means that Ari can't play this up for quite some time, and as such, it gives some breathing room to Orianna to just farm up, hit to that late game, but a 3-man push to the top side might be Linderang's demise.
Oh, I thought he saw the Ari there, but it seems not. Will flash away, as Pawn actually will not be able to hit that charm.
No response from ROX, though. They are 2 men into the mid lane. Kalista's still pushing bottom lane. There might be fancying that tier 1, but Kled is basing and will be going bot lane to answer. You'd hope that Mighty Bear would be joining Key here and going for this tier 1 bottom lane, but it seems like they might just push the wave and call it quits as Kalista wards, returns to the bottom lane, pushes another wave, and will most likely just recall.
See that Smeb is actually going to go top to answer the Shen push for now. And Mata and Def, they're coming up here as a big move by ROX. 4 members heading down towards bot. And of course, always consider that Shen is basically with them with the Stand United. So hoping to potentially dive this turret. Looks like KT, they have some idea. They're playing very far back.
There is no minion wave to commit to this tower, and there are plenty of TP wards for ROX Tigers, and they have pretty much immaculate vision across river and on the other side of the red side jungle with triple control and triple green. But as a result of this crazy commitment for the tier 1 bottom, they give up the tier 1 mid. Not worthwhile by any means.
This has taken a while too. The Chain of Corruption comes out to delay. They actually hook Mickey, not willing to take the 3v4. And they will just let the turret die.
But they drop the tier 1, so not such a worthwhile trade for them. That mid tier 1 will come into play for this next dragon in the next coming minute. And Pawn responds topside, and if KT can transition and turn a tier 1 bottom loss into 2 turrets for themselves, then this is really good for them. And Pawn chooses not to. They value this dragon a little bit too much, as it is an Infernal, and basing in under a minute is already cutting it close.
That was kind of an awkward play from the Tigers, as you were saying. I mean, I feel like all 4 of them had already committed to it, and they were down bot, so it was kind of hard to send Mickey all the way back into mid to try to answer the push. So they had already made the decision. They kind of had to go with it. But at the end of it all, we do see that the Tigers are still ahead about 2,000 gold, 1.5. And looks like Mata was the first one to get towards that dragon and clear up a bunch of the vision. So while that river was mostly ROX favored up until now, Mata able to save that. And they're going deep onto Mata. They will get the knock up.
Pretty far there.
Yeah, and oh boy, look at that burst damage on the Sungyun. Can they actually get into the back line? The Lantern saves spawn. Mata turning up mid once again. And now everybody's in the bot lane.
They get plenty of flashes. They get Matas and Smebs, which are some of the biggest engages, as Scores is already down. But now that Sangyun doesn't have flash, we'll just try to lifesteal out of this Scuttle Crab, but it's just not going to be quite enough just yet. Ahri's nowhere to be found, so this dragon will certainly go ROX's way. Got a little nervous about that one, actually, but there is the Ren to secure it, and the smite does come through at the same time.
That's pretty good for the Tigers. They do pick up a matching Infernal Drake. Let's take a look at the replay as they go super deep onto Mata.
Yeah, there's just no chance of a follow-up here, so instead they commit the Stand United to make sure there's somebody in range. And luckily for Sangyun, Score is not there to follow up right away. And
also the proto build missed.
Yeah. Score's Smeb's TP just a little bit off there, as he has to burn the flash, not wanting to be caught in the middle of 3 people, especially with that much damage and crowd control.
Sangyun and Key make their way up into the top lane once again. Pawn is in the brush. Score also hanging around, as is Mighty Bear. Doesn't look like KT wants any part in this engage, though. Do have Baron about to spawn here in 3 minutes, or 3 seconds, rather.
And it's a stage of the game where you see dual lane be grouped up as much as possible with your jungler, while your solo lanes can respond a little bit faster than anybody else. And you have Kled that can collapse with his ultimate, and likewise for Shen and Ahri and Orianna, which are more mobile than most mid laners, as they have they have 2 speed boosts actually.
Uh-oh, Pawn in a bit of trouble there. They do proc that stun. Can the burst damage come out from Mighty Bear? Yes, it will. That is a nice little kill. They pick themselves up in the top lane.
And this Fate's Call just doing so much work for ROX Tigers, picking multiple kills for themselves. He will get Skarl back, though, pretty soon. So a couple more autos onto the Shen. Will proc him and give him a little bit of bravery to stay into the mix.
Skarl's back. Everybody rejoices.
clear out some vision around Baron. Oh, wait a minute. Are they going to commit to this right now? They haven't done their due diligences with vision.
The TP comes out from Linderong too, so they were committing hardcore into this. Do they want to take a fight? Linderong is pretty low. Again, they're going to try to take out Mata. Looks like this time they will be successful.
They really want to kill him, and a flash on your support for a kill on, flash on your mid laner for a kill on your support is a bit of a risky choice there. It'll all come down to how Mickey chooses to play the next couple of minutes.
It's a Mickey special.
Yeah, well,
the flash to kill a support.
If they can pull it off right, then it'll be worthwhile. But if they put themselves in a position to fight, and his position is not immaculate, and he just gets taken down for not having flash, then it just won't be worth it. So they will start it here. They'll try to turn it, but the flash shockwave, not really necessary considering Glacial Fissure was going out and there was no flash left onto the Thresh.
Looks like they get the flash from Deft too. I think he was trying to get both of those members, so Deft is able to flash out. So at the end of it all, it seems to be worth it.
I missed that then.
I missed that as well.
If they get the Deft flash, then that's a little bit better.
For sure. So it does end up being worthy for the ROX Tigers. They don't really turn it into anything too much just yet. Actually, KT still has a lot of wards around that Baron.
And they're not crazy strong enough right now to tank this without the Shen being there. So they would definitely have to commit a Stand United or get a fight. So I think so far they just want to have control of the area just because it's a good area to have control of. You can punish a mistake and get the biggest lead, but also you want to deny KT the ability to enter this place because KT is a pick composition. And if they don't have vision around the objective that they want to get picks of, then the composition just ends up falling later and later into the game, and they most likely will have troubles dealing with a 5-man death ball that ROX will want to do later on.
You can see that they leave that ward up. That's denied by the control ward of ROX. They don't want to give away their position, but it seems like Score is able to poke his head in and check it out anyway.
They don't have to worry too much about Baron being taken, even though the vision is denied. As long as Sangyun stays on the map, you know they don't have enough damage to take down anything else, or at least be in a position where securing a Baron with Rend would not be available, and you always have the option of the Smite Steal that way.
Bit of a invade here from the ROX Tigers. Look at Pawn's positioning. He has the Banshee Veil and the Spirit Rush. Can he escape this? Will the ROX Tigers even commit? Doesn't look like it.
I think they're maybe looking for Mata, perhaps, but there's double control wards, one on the left side of blue jungle, one in the blue itself. The middle lane just got replaced, or the ward in the middle of the river just got replaced by Mata, so lots of vision there. And the Rang will just taunt away happily.
Lots of tension right now. It feels later than it actually is. I mean, we're only 24 minutes into the game, but both of these teams have kind of just settled into, okay, the top laners go bot, the wave clearers can go top, push in that wave, try to put on some pressure there and in mid, and they kind of just duke it out. They fight for vision and look for those picks.
And the reason for this lull is just because the engage is so much on Score. Does not get the stun proc, but the engage tools are almost exclusively onto KT right now, and they're getting engaged, and it's from reckless face checks happening from KT ROX. So they usually have to start off with the Fate's Call, with the Braum ultimate, which they're pretty big commitment ultimates, but because they're so hard to follow up on with the comp that ROX have, they just result in flashes or people getting lanterned out, or not a whole lot. And because KT feels like they are a little bit more behind than they really are, capable.
Mickey in a bit of trouble. Will Shockwave, but there's the hook follow-up. Nicely done by Smeb to commit to that kill. They're going deep for Linderong too. They may be diving 2 turrets at this point. That's a double kill for Smeb on this Kled. And a really nice kill opened up. They will try to re-engage here 3v5. Not sure about this one. Mighty Bear has to do a bit of charge damage. Really good kick there onto the Braum. That's going to be a 3rd kill. As finally they trade back one, the ROX Tigers do. Score trading his life for another one, but that would mean a lot of pressure here in the mid lane for KT.
Nice charm.
Why was Graves running the other way after the charm? Either way, he looks like he will be going down for the trade, as Sangyun is actually pretty dangerous, has double buff right now. There's a double kill. Can he actually follow up with the chase? He's trying, but not sure if he can get into range.
And that pick really salvages the fight there for ROX Tigers. Otherwise, they would have lost that tier 2 in the mid lane. And Kalista getting strong is going to be really dangerous. These are all skill shot champions from the ROX Tigers dealing with the most slippery AD carry of them all. And they're going to take this time to start up that Baron. But Mighty Bear is not alive, so the Rend is going to be used to secure this objective, which can be detrimental for them, considering that she's not going to be able to turn or commit to Baron, commit to Baron.
One of the going deep. It seems foolish, but he's buying time for Score to get there. And what will ROX do? Will they commit? Will they try to take out Score? He is on top of Score. Here comes Pawn. Score's coming on in. They will get it with the Rend. And Smeb comes in all alone. Lots of low members for the ROX Tigers, but it looks like they will pick up another kill onto that Score. KT trying just way too hard to get on in there. And that will be another one going down. Mighty Bear able to pick off another kill. So 2 members of KT go down, and the ROX Tigers get Baron buff.
And Seonghwan, what a hero has he been in this game so far. Having a great use of Fate's Call with the rotation, topside picks, left, right, and center, and really salvaging the game on that dive into the mid lane. A pick that the ROX that Smeb looked for. So, oh, come on, Mickey. Man, every time
I feel like we've been saying that a lot today. Oh, yeah. Boy.
Well, let's just forget about him, and we'll keep praising Sangyun here for saving that fight in the mid-tier 2 and securing that Baron. 4-0-3, he has yet to shop. Most likely we'll be going for that Phantom Dancer here, and we'll take another look at that replay here. This is really good stuff by Smeb, just recognizing that Orianna is out of position and a 4-man collapse onto her. They just go all out for it, commit to the Shen as well, but this replay is just going to go on very long as they just keep trying to dive turrets left, right, and center, but Sangyun, the real hero here. The Fate's Call commits onto Smeb, procs Carl off, but they try to re-engage, and I think he tried to go on to Kalista, but she very intelligently flashes away, doesn't get hit by the insect, and keeping your carries alive is really the #1 game of the game when you're Braum and Shen. There it is, the Rend to secure the final kill, but Deft is taking turret aggro, and you can't really fight Kalista one-on-one when you're a Varus at this stage.
I feel like they could have just backed off and gotten that tier 2, but KT, they were feeling it. They were feeling it. A little bit of underestimation onto this fed Kalista.
And now that's a completed Phantom Dancer and the QSS, so you can forget about Charm and you can forget about the Chains of Corruption taking her down.
Nice use of the Proto Belt to dodge the Braum. But a very dangerous Kalista at this moment in time.
It's going to be on to Score here to try to hit Kalista and kick her into the team. His flash is going to come up pretty soon. They will be happy to just drop this tier 2 as the wave is almost dead. Only 4 minions left now. Make that 3. Look at the position on
what? The Chain of Corruption hits Mickey, but Mata cannot follow up. The Stand United does get used, though, and in comes Smeb a little bit awkwardly just bouncing off the Braum shield.
Ari's looking for a flank, so at least they understand the way that these champions have to be played for KT. They got to look for the flank onto the Ari, but Sangyun without flash is just going to be just so strong.
They're pushing the turret right now, and it doesn't look like... Okay, KT might get key, but is it worth it in the end? They'll trade supports here. Losing that turret, they missed the charm onto Sangyun. That would have been gigantic.
Yeah, and they committed the kick to it as well, so the inhibitor will go down, and now they have to hesitate. Do they want to take this fight now that their main damage abilities are down?
Well, he gets the charm, but the immediate QSS, really great mechanical play there out of Sangyun, able to pick up another kill onto Smeb. It's the Pawn Show now. Can he actually go 1v4 here? Score's doing red, meanwhile. Oh, no! Poor guy. Oh, Pawnee's going to run into the Shen. And the taunt will miss. This is the great escape of the Ari right now.
The Spirit Rush is down.
Sangyun on the chase. In comes Mickey. Looks like he's going to take the blasting plan away. Here comes Mighty Bear. And that should be the end of this poor pop star's life. Down she does go.
She is just a one-hit wonder at this point. Not really doing a whole lot for her. her career. And this is the start of that fight again. I think they're going to be able to pop Thresh right from the start. Good flash there from Death, but in the backside, it's Lee Sin, it's Ahri looking for the Kalista, but remember, she still has QSS on her. So even if that charm were to have hit, the lifesteal that she can pack probably would have been enough for her to commit and turn onto the Lee Sin and maybe even kill the Ahri.
Oh boy, Mata gets caught again here up towards the Baron. And there's not much to take at this moment in time. We are getting later in the game, but still only 35 seconds on the death timer for Mata. Just means they might get some lane pressure after grabbing that kill.
And that lane pressure means that there's not going to be any vision for KT to try to look for any flanks. So it's actually a pretty important pick now that there are no wards that are going to be able to flank against the ROX Tigers. And if you can't flank a composition that needs to be hit from multiple angles, it becomes so easy for them to defend when you have Orianna, when you have Rom to stand and deliver his presence, and you just can't do anything against it. Even though Kalista is not a Siege champion, they're very comfortable knowing that the fight will be coming just straight on.
This looks like the easiest thing in the world for the ROX Tigers at this point in time. Essentially going 5v4. Smeb trying to come from behind. Mata does get the engage, but oh, where did Death go? I didn't even see that guy disappear.
That's a magic trick right there. Yeah, I actually died immediately.
Oh, this Kalista's getting out of hand, man. Forcing the charge there for Smeb. Pawn can't even stay to wave clear. And it is very fast, very quickly looking like we are going to be going into this game 3 as the ROX Tigers take 3 inhibitors and continue to push on.
Looking for a game now, and there's not a whole lot they can do. How do you jump onto this Kalista when everything you have is a skill shot and you lost the early game? And the answer is you don't, and as such, she will just be trying to push for the game here. Lee Sin trying to cut off the wave, maybe looking for a Dragon's Rage onto her, but without Death there to follow up, just might not have enough.
Will we have the miracle stop? The answer is no. We'll have Kalista blowing up the entire team along with the help of Orianna. That's going to be game number 2 going over to the ROX Tigers, and we will have another game 3 tonight.
What a treat there. The Kalista finally making a surge into the meta, a pick that we just wanted to see so badly when we had been mistreated to all the utility AD carries that just never offered much excitement, but now we have one of the most exciting carries, and just so well played. ROX with the lane swap to the top side again, multiple Fates call, just being incredibly proactive and looking for ways to get advantages onto the map, and really good signs of life for a team that you would have expected to not be doing a whole lot. And there's that cheeky smile. He knows what he's been doing. He's been kicking ass.
Good stuff out of the spot lane, especially out of the Kalista. Finishes up 6-0-6. Pretty good.
No deaths, perfect game. A rare sight to see. And KT back to the drawing board. Maybe the Kalista pick should have been taken early on, or the draft was a little bit too tunnel vision on getting past the early stages of the game. They have to remember that if it wasn't for the Lantern plays from Mata in that first game, they would have actually started at a disadvantage.
Yeah, very true. You can see the face of Mickey as he actually does stand up to the R. He has 1 death, but that's about it. This is the first blood going over to Lindarong, trading flash for flash. Picks up the kill.
And it all started from Mighty Bear's invade and catch onto the Lee Sin. This is going to be that lane swap, the Fates call, the move that they made game 1 that didn't let them get a kill, but ended up getting them have first brick, allowed them to not only get the kill this time around, but be in a position for the first brick. And here's another use of that Fates call from over the Tri-Brush. Just great comboing there with the Blade of the Ruined King and the Graves to follow up. There's just no escaping.
Nice little flash play. They get the flash at a depth here. Pick up the kill on Mata. Don't turn it into much. This was a nice engage that eventually went wrong. They pick up Mickey and dive 2 turrets for Lindarong. And this is when Kalista just really, really shines, when you're going a little bit too deep.
Exactly. She's a champion that needs people to dive into you so that she can dodge. To play aggressively on her is to be in that position where you pretty much won the game already. And a great flash there from Sang-Yin to make sure that he doesn't get kicked into the team, as that could have been disaster. And they get so carried away by the charm from Pawn that they continue on the chase against Lindarong, but the turret tanking from Death. And I believe he goes down right at the end to just that piercing arrow, and Not sure what that was. That a turret shot? I think he just the way that the new turret aggro works back. He takes that turret shot back and ends up getting taken out.
So here's the result. ROX Tigers win, about 14,000 gold ahead. One extra Cloud Drake, but really, there's the story. The Callista damage way up at the top.
And the Lee Sin damage. I don't think I've seen a Lee Sin damage quite that low in a while. 3.5k. Keeping up with Thresh's damage, a champion that
at least did less than Braum.
Braum did more damage than Lee. Not really sure how, but that's what we get in return. And KT, some trouble still. The draft maybe back to the drawing board, but we will be getting some Game 3 action that we have been missing today.
Yeah, so guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Game 3, the decider between the ROX Tigers and KT Rolster.